Guys, I'm back. This year has probably been the most influential year of my life in a more like personal aspect. Now, I do have some things that I want to talk about. I do have a bit of a list here that I want to kind of go through just to kind of keep you on the loop, because I know I've not been active much on YouTube and I've not done anything at all. I'd say in the past 8 months, really. So I've not uploaded in a long time. I know it looks like I've not uploaded in a year. I mean, that's kind of true, but not true, in the sense that yes, I've actually not uploaded anything in a year, but I have privated a bunch of videos, which I'm gonna get onto the reason I've done that a bit later in the video, because I feel like it is something to take into consideration, as it's kind of been a part of the reason why I've not been around. So we'll get around to that in a second. But first thing that I want to get into is something that I've not been able to address properly, because, oh my God, at this time I was in hospital as well. Oh Jesus. Okay, I completely forgot about that. But Rising 2, MCC Rising 2. Okay, if you guys were not aware already, which I think, did I make a community post about this? I don't think I did. But we got accepted into MCC Rising 2, which is unbelievable. At the time, this was one of the things that I have always wanted to do ever since I've started doing YouTube, like genuinely. And when I tell you this has been in the works for years, I'm not even joking. Like, we were preparing for this moment a couple months after Rising 1, as crazy as that sounds. So I mean, it was mainly my responsibility with the video, because out of the 4 of us, I have the most editing experience. I have the most experience with videography. Oh my God, that reminds me of another thing that I completely forgot to add to my list. Okay, no, I'll get onto that after. I'm gonna explain in a bit. So it was pretty much my responsibility to take on that video. Realistically, we started the week the teasers started to come out on Twitter. Now, it was pretty obvious it was gonna be. Now, nobody expected Rising 2 to even happen at that time, but we were, based off the teasers, it was pretty obvious that that's what the announcement was gonna be. So when the teasers drop, we're like, okay, time to take action, time to work on this fast. So we gathered every bit of knowledge that we had kind of been discussing over the was it 2 years? It was 2 years ago the Rising 1 happened. Well, from that time period to then, aka Rising 2 teaser announcement, we put every single bit of information that we had gathered and try to apply to make a good video, a good application. And lo and behold, we did it. We did it. We got into Rising 2, which was absolutely fantastic. At this point, I wasn't even home. I was on holidays when I got the invitation, and it was at a pretty weird time, because the way it works is you have to do a tech test when you join the event to actually see if you can run the event. Because the whole purpose of MCC is you have to stream the event to an audience, and you get the benefit of playing the event, and also you get the promotional aspect of it, and you also get new people coming in, check you out, and you grow as a streamer. It's a win-win. But things happen. But we as a collection decided to step down, and it was the only plausible decision in that moment that we had to do. And at that time, I was also in hospital, which was a very rough time. I think it was my first time or my second time? It was my first time. That was my first time. And it was really bad. I'm not crying. I have allergies and it's hurting my eyes so bad. Oh my God. Anyways, yeah, so we decided to step down, and that was that. Pretty much. There's really not much else to that story, but it does indeed suck. And weirdly enough, this is the first time I'm talking about it, even though this happened back in end of August. I think it was the end of August. I don't want to say I'm like upset that we didn't get into the event. Like, we've done everything correctly. We've gotten the invitation. We got to meet a lot of great people, and subsequently, yeah, we didn't get to play the event, but I genuinely didn't expect that to be kind of like the minor part of getting to the event. Like, the biggest thing is, to me, like a big eye-opener is just the amount of people you talk to. Like, genuinely, that was a really cool experience, even though we really didn't get into the event. And I didn't even get to play much on the practice server because I was in hospital for like quite a bit, and I was also away. Like, literally I was on holidays, got home, played on like the practice server for a day, and then I was in the hospital the next day for a couple days. It was not great. Yeah, just to kind of move on, this is where things really start to go downhill. There was a situation that happened in, I believe it was October, November, around that time area, where there was an argument with close friend that had in the space, where there were a lot of disagreements on stuff and a lot of disrespect, I want to say, like respectful disrespect. I don't know how else to word it, but that's caused us to not be a part of the space, and it affected me, not initially, but down the line it affected me really badly. I'm a lot better now. I'll say that I'm a lot better now, but it was the beginning of probably one of the worst places I've been mentally. Yeah, I'll just kind of swiftly move on, but I'll just leave it kind of like at that. It was the beginning of a somewhat difficult period, and it's made me go solo for the next, I want to say, 2 to 3 months. So around the time where I started making my clip channel, I think, where I uploaded on my clip channel every single day, I think this was back in January. At this point, I was so overloaded with tasks, I was so overloaded with work that it just distracted me from, I want to say, like, my emotions, as weird as that sounds, but I was not like processing things as I should have been, just because I was just, my focus was just diverged to something else. So it was this, I think this was still at a point where I was still streaming quite a bit. I was definitely not uploading, but I was streaming a decent amount. And that's when I started to stream kind of event side of stuff. So the first one, I mean, I'm not going to count things like 24-hour SMP. Like, it's an event, but I mean like an event that like lasts for 2 or 3 hours. Like those kind of events, kind of like MCC in a way. But played in those, and I decided that it was not for me for a couple of reasons. Will I go into details what those reasons are? Absolutely not. But I'm a competitive person. I like competing in things, but I have seen things and have to deal with things that I never thought I had to deal with in my life, so I just strayed away from it. And that's kind of where it really started to downfall for me. So I've really had a good experience with when it comes to like the event side of stuff, which I will say MCC, the way it was ran behind the scenes was absolutely impeccable, and it was absolutely amazing, and the staff were absolutely amazing. And another one where I genuinely super loved the staff and the event itself, even though it was known for being scuffed, would be Tubnet, which shut down. Of course, it shut down, I think it was in March. I don't know when it got shut down, but it got shut down. I think Tubbo did say something about it. I don't know, I haven't really kept up, but that one sucked. That one really sucked. And that's kind of when I started to explore with different events. And that's where I learned one of the hardest lessons in my life. So I left the event space, which every one of my friends was in. Like, I had realistically no friends, apart from maybe like one person that I still kind of talk to now, who isn't in like the event space. I mean, I didn't want to be involved with the event space at all, and everyone around me did, which was it put me in a very weird spot. And that was also kind of the first time like this. I think this was the stage where I had nothing going on, like absolutely nothing. Like, this is the first time in months where I was just able to sit at my desk and just do nothing. And all the stuff, everything that was happening back in November, December, just invaded everything, fully invaded my mind, because things started to pile up, things started to kind of collect more. It would hit more later on, which inevitably kind of caused this, I don't want to say hiatus, but it kind of was. I had to take some pretty important decisions at that point with content creation in general. Now, with this whole like kind of leaving the event space, although MCC had done me absolutely wonders and has done for me so much in both an entertainment aspect, financial aspect, and meeting people in the space, it's been life-changing for sure, I'd say, in the online space and outside of the online space too. But I had taken the decision to leave all things MCC, which, don't get me wrong, it was a very difficult decision for me to do. But if I wanted to distance myself kind of from the event aspects of, especially kind of the content creation side of it, that was one of the main steps. Now, of course, if the opportunity was given, although odds are probably 0%, if I was wanted an MCC, I would definitely not say no. To be completely honest, I've not kept up with the event at all since I'd left All Things MC, and even beforehand, like in that like break that was happening, is when I was like, okay, yeah, no, I cannot do this. I'm stepping back. But in the meantime, some absolutely amazing opportunities have come up for me in kind of a similar space. So now I'm working with SB737's team, and I'm doing the thumbnails for them, which is very, very sick. But yeah, this is kind of slightly before I left All Things MC as well, which also did factor in the reason why I couldn't be part of the team, is because at this time I'd also started my internship, which is very cool, which I have 2 months left in, and then I'm done, and then I'm going into my final year of uni. I'm not gonna go too much into like what I'm doing on my internship because I don't think it's relevant at all, but I'm working full-time hours essentially, so we'll just keep it at that. So leave All Things MCC. I don't know if this was before and after what I'm about to say, but things go down again, unfortunately. So I think in March, start of March, I had to go to the hospital for the same reason I had to go back when Rising 2 was happening, which is bad. It's pretty bad, but at this time it was at a slightly earlier stage, so it wasn't as bad as it was before. Because this was my second time getting this, I was eligible to get a tonsillectomy, which I've been wanting to do for so long. You have no clue. For so long. The way tonsillectomies go where I am is you'll get booked for the surgery, you do your surgery, and you can leave the same day. That was not the case for me. So go in, get my tonsils removed, and I wake up with the worst dizziness I've ever felt in my life. Like, it was so bad I couldn't even open my eyes, and I had to just leave my head to the side. Hey, doctors were all coming up, was like, you know, we can't like treat you or anything if you're like not speaking to us. I'm like, I physically am unable to look at you. I'm not like trying to like sleep. I'm not trying, like, I literally cannot like look at you, or else my head will feel like it's turning 360 degrees at 5,000 miles an hour. Like, it was that bad. So I had to stay another day. I had to stay another day in hospital because I had, for some reason, really bad reactions to the anesthetic. I mean, nothing went wrong. The surgery went perfectly fine, as it should have been. I stay at the hospital an extra day, and I get discharged. I'm like, okay, first thing, I'm going to bed, because despite sleeping 16 hours, I'm still, like, very tired. I wake up the following morning, very early morning, just eating my breakfast at the table, and so this is the start of April, and my grandmother passes away. That was very heavy. I mean, even kind of talking about it now is still pretty heavy stuff. And the funeral was booked for later that week, because I think it was a Monday or a Tuesday, and the funeral was booked for a Thursday or Friday. It might have been a Saturday, I'm not too sure. And it was in a different country, and I couldn't even go because I just had surgery. Like, I'd have to fly a plane. With the condition that I was in, I couldn't. I was pretty much left alone at home. There's no one around. I couldn't even go out. I couldn't do much. The end of April is around, and my dog of, I believe, coming up to 12 years, gets really ill and passes away as well. I mean, the story just couldn't get worse. Like, it was literally a situation of like, okay, this is really bad. Surely it cannot get worse than this. And it did. Everything just kept stacking up and up and up and up, and it wouldn't just finish. It wouldn't just wrap up. So at that point I was like, okay, just get me extra shifts at work. I'm working 6 days a week. I don't care. I'm working a 9 to 6 for 6 days a week. And I did that for quite a bit, and that somehow actually helped me become better. Now, I am missing some details that are a bit too personal that I don't want to speak about because they are very personal. But yeah, so that kind of leads to now, and I'm feeling a lot better, kind of getting back on my feet. I am genuinely sorry, not just to everyone that's watching, but just to everyone that I'd like negatively affected. But that's kind of it. With regards to the channel, I'm really but I'm going to be posting a lot more. Streaming wise, that's something I really need to figure out. I mean, even with content creation, I'm hoping to bring things somewhat back to normal. I'm hoping everything is going to be okay. Thank you for watching. See you all next video. I'll be posting. I promise I'll post.